Time and time again, I've said that European business class, which is just an economy seat with no neighbor and a meal, is almost never worth it. But I absolutely love the Airbus A220 and have had great experience with Air France. So will this product finally be the one I begrudgingly recommend? Let's find out on this trip from Venice to Paris. This trip was part of a larger award ticket from Venice back to Chicago via Paris using FlyBlue miles. It proved quite the experience booking and keeping this ticket, but I'll cover that bit in the next video. Staying at the wonderful Hyatt Centric on the island of Murano, I hopped the early morning Aliaguna to the airport. I love this about Venice. Where else do you get to take a boat to the airport? Okay, Male and the Maldives, fine, but other than that. From the docks, there are moving walkways to the terminal itself. I wasn't checking a bag and had a mobile boarding pass, so could proceed straight through the fast-track security, which came with my ticket. Venezia Marco Polo Airport is a fairly straightforward airport, but has grown significantly in recent years, even boasting direct flights to the US. I made my way upstairs to the Marco Polo Lounge, which is accessed with business class tickets as well as priority pass. I've been here before, and I'm a big fan of this lounge. It's a large, spacious area with sweeping views of the runway, apron, and Venice in the background. While it sadly wouldn't have made up for the breakfast I would have had at the Hyatt, it was pretty decent, with good-looking croissant and Lavazza coffee made to order. Wi-Fi was also quite fast. There's all sorts of seating, from counters to booths to a quiet area. There's also a large plane spotting deck that is not a smoking area, thank God. I watched several flights touch down. Before my A220 landed from Paris. For whatever reason, it taxied to a remote stand. Guess we're doing that, even though there are plenty of free gates. We actually boarded at a real gate, but had the switcheroo of boarding a bus that took us to the aircraft. I was pretty gushy with my praise of the Delta A220, and I have to repeat myself. It's a beautiful modern aircraft with a striking silhouette. The interior is configured in a 2-3 layout, similar to the old MD-80s and 717 family of aircraft. There's no dedicated business class seats, they just block the middle seats of the 3 and the aisle of the 2. Traveling on my own, I selected the side of 2 seats, also for an amazing upcoming view of Venice. I really don't like bulkheads, but I didn't have much of a choice here. Row 2 was the first and only row on the left side of the plane in business class, so that's what I took. Sadly, the armrest doesn't raise, but the legroom was great. The seats have both USB-A and C power, so you can even power your laptop. The seats are the widest around, a staggering 18.9 inches, making it an incredibly comfortable ride. And this isn't just for business class, but for everyone. The only odd thing was that the feet of the person behind me were sorta in my space for the whole flight. There was only one other passenger in business class with our own dedicated crew member, so the service was incredibly friendly and proactive. The flight attendant spoke with both of us for much of the flight, and even on the ground asked if we needed anything and handed us bottles of water. We pushed back 7 minutes after scheduled departure, waited for an American 787 to touch down, before we took off. Flying time to Paris was an hour 25 at 36,000 feet. After circling, we got a fantastic view of Venice, really one of the best views I've had from a plane.
Mesdames et messieurs, sur la gauche de l'appareil, vous pouvez profiter d'une magnifique vue sur la ville de Venise. Ladies and gentlemen, on your left-hand side, you can enjoy a beautiful view of the city of Venice.
Even the flight attendant came over to my row to look out my window. It was so nice. Now, I never play audio in my flight reviews, but here it's important. Just notice how quiet the A220 is. 34% quieter than the A319 and A320. Being a brand new aircraft, the plane came with Wi-Fi. Messaging was free, while packages were 5 and 15 euros. For this trip, I didn't bother, but it's nice to have, as many European flights still don't have Wi-Fi. The meal, which I believe was supposed to be breakfast, had a warm croissant, yogurt, and a savory crepe. The croissant was decent for a plain croissant, and the crepe I believe was a sort of chicken salad crepe, served with a flavorful red sauce and some cheese. It was pretty decent, and at least pretty interesting. This time there was a clear day over the Alps, as we crossed into Switzerland. We even saw Mont Blanc in the distance. The pilot bragged about the comfort and efficiency of the A220 several times over the course of the flight, and it was very clear that they were as excited to fly it as I was to ride in it. Even the lavatory at the front was large and fairly stylish. We flew north of Dijon, before approaching Paris-Charles de Gaulle from the east. We had a very long taxi past Roissy-Pol with a view of the good old Concorde. We arrived at Terminal 2F 20 minutes late, and I hurried along the yellow brick road to 2E and a truly fantastic business class flight on the A350. So Air France's A220 in business class. Yeah, it's pretty great. The A220 is simply better in every way than the A319s and A320s that they are replacing. The seats are wider and more comfortable, there's Wi-Fi and power, and the experience is just so much more quiet and pleasant. But that's true for everyone, not just those in business class. I still don't think I could bring myself to pay cash to sit up front. But yeah, I gotta admit, this was the best intra-European flight I've ever had. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, click that button and please subscribe for many more flight reviews to come. I'll see you next time as we bring this trip home on Air France's A350 in business class.